Welcome back to another Wordy Wednesday. Well, today I thought we would take a look at some common grammatical errors, and I've got 15 of them for you. These are things that we all hear every day. Sometimes we make these mistakes ourselves, and I thought we'd take a minute, clear them up, and I know a lot of you have written in the video comments that some of these are, your personal little bugaboos. So when we come back, 15 common grammatical errors that we hear every single day. All right, let's start with there. There, T-H-E-I-R. There, T-H-E-R-E. There, T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. They all sound exactly alike. They have 3 different meanings. And for the most part, we know what those meanings are, but we still, sometimes between our brain and our finger, there's some disconnect, and we'll just write the wrong word, or these days it's type the wrong word. So let's start with T-H-E-R-E. T-H-E-R-E, that there refers to a place. Not here, there. Very, very easy. How simple can that be? The word here is right in that word. So we know here and there. Very easy to tell it apart. There, T-H-E-I-R. That is the third person possessive, something that belongs to them. And the word heir, H-E-I-R, the person who inherits, that's my little mnemonic. It says, I'm not inheriting anything, so if something's getting inherited, it's their inheritance. And finally, there's T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. That's a contraction of they are. So simple. It's them, they're doing something, they're going to the store, they're taking a trip. There. Now, sounds easy, but a lot of us screw that one up all the time. Years ago, undergrad, long time ago, when I was in college, I tutored in the English department, and I tutored the introductory writing course. You have no idea how common this mistake is, and this is a mistake college students were making. So, never kick yourself for these mistakes. Everybody makes them. Next is your and your. Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. Well, your is second person possessive, belongs to you. Y-O-U apostrophe R-E is you are. You're going to the store. You're taking a trip. Problem is, of course, they sound exactly alike. Another problem with most of these the words that we're going to go over today is your spell checker will not catch them because they are legitimate words. I think I've got one that is not a real word. Other than that, they're all real words. Your spell checker will recognize them as real words, so it won't interfere. Microsoft Word has a grammar checker, and I hate it. I got to figure out how to turn that thing off because it will catch some of these errors, but it's a computer and its grammar is very flawed. Never rely on it because boy does it make mistakes. So these are words that you have to know, because spell checker and autocorrect, well, we all know about autocorrect. They're not going to do anything for you. It's and its. IT apostrophe S and ITS. Now this is a tricky one because you look at this IT apostrophe S and you say possessive, because that's how we show possessives, with the apostrophe S. But that's not how we make pronouns possessive. Hers, yours, they don't have apostrophes. Theirs, there's no apostrophe when you turn a pronoun into a possessive. The only situation in which that apostrophe mark goes into the word is if it's a contraction. It is. So it's going to be a rainy day. There's your apostrophe. I changed the cat's collar today, and its new collar is the same as the old one. That it's, and I never call Audie an it. It was hard for me to think of that one. Audie's new collar, by the way, is exactly the same color as the old collar. It's just less ratty. And he's got some new bells too, so he's happy. So remember, the apostrophe on a pronoun means a contraction, because pronouns do not hold their possessive with an apostrophe. All right, this one is not a word. This one is sort of a grammatical concept that we frequently get wrong. Now, if you're from the UK, you're going to be looking at this saying, nuh-uh. It's because the UK doesn't observe this rule. So, US only. We will refer to entities, brands, businesses as they or them. That's not, a store is not a they. A store is an it. So, I went next door to the Davises to see if I could borrow some sugar, but they were out. Perfectly presentable sentence. I went to the store to buy some sugar, but they were out. Nope. Who's they? The store? You know, maybe you're thinking in terms of the people in the store, but that's not what you're saying. You're saying the store is out. They were not out. The store is not a they. The store is an it. And I know nobody ever follows this rule. But if you're actually writing for academic purposes or literary purposes and you're hoping to get published, check your grammar, because an editor is going to be red penciling all over you. Remember, it is the store. They are the neighbors, because they're humans. In the UK, they don't do it this way. They pluralize things. The staff are. I remember one time that it struck me really hard was when I was reading one of the Harry Potter books, and J.K. Rowling, who, by the way, I have caught in grammatical errors, so was talking about Gryffindor and they. I would have said Gryffindor and it, because it was a school house, an entity. Yes, baby. Do I show off your new collar? Here. There we go. New collar, new bells. All right. I would say Gryffindor is an it. They say they. I would refer to the staff as an it. Also, I would refer to the staff in the singular. They would refer to the staff in the plural. The staff are. I would say the staff is, because that's a difference between American English and British English. Next on our list, affect, effect. Affect, A-F-F-E-C-T, is a verb. Yes, and effect, E-F-F-E-C-T, is a noun. So I went to the concert and I was greatly affected by the music. Verb. I went to the concert and the music had a great effect on me. Noun. Same meaning, but just remember, affect is the verb, effect is the noun. Yes, okay, yes, I got you. I and me. This is one we've talked about before. Billy and me went to the store. Well, drop Billy. Would you say me went to the store? No. And I hear this all the time. I used to hear President Obama do it, and it would make me crazy. He would say, somebody gave something to Michelle and I. No, somebody gave something to Michelle and me. Now, to get it straight, call me silly, but I want my president to speak English. You really do hear that a lot, and I'm hearing it more and more in the media. I'm hearing newscasters say it. I'm hearing it on television shows, in movies. And there was a time when that wasn't allowed, when they would just check scripts for grammatical errors, back in the Leave It to Beaver days, when they wanted to make sure that television was setting a good example for the public. Not so anymore. So the rule is you use me when you would use him or her. You use I when you would use he or she. Very easy to remember when you think of it like that, because we don't make mistakes. We don't say Billy and him went, well, yeah, actually, I have heard people say Billy and him went to the store. But we tend to know that's wrong. So remember, direct object, I, he, she, indirect object, me, him, her. If you hold that connection in your head, you won't make the mistake. Oh, this one, Pique, Pique, and Pique. 3 words, they sound exactly alike. Pique, to take a quick look, is P-E-E-K. Peak, the top of a mountain, a point, apex, is P-E-A-K. And to provoke or arouse is pique, P-I-Q-U-E. Let me pique your interest. Those are words that we don't use quite as commonly. And the problem with words that we don't use quite as commonly as others is those are the ones that we make mistakes, but we don't catch them because these words are part of our vocabulary, but in general, they're not part of our everyday vocabulary. So if we screw up, we tend not to see the screw up even when we're proofreading. So keep an eye out for those. Okay, who and that. This is another really, really common one. Mary is the girl who wore the blue dress that had a red bow. Who refers to Mary, that refers to the dress. Now, we make this mistake on who. We don't make it with that. We would never think of saying the dress who had a red bow. But we do occasionally say things like, Mary was the girl that had the red dress. No, Mary was the girl who had the red dress. And keep in mind, that does not apply to humans. That applies to objects, things. And Audie, it applies to you too. I know, he thinks he's human. He doesn't believe me. So who and that. Then and than. T-H-E-N. Then refers to time. Not now, then. Than is a conjunction, and it compares two things. Greater than, bigger than, Bobby was smaller than Mary. So then is the time word. Than is the comparison word, the conjunction. The only thing you can do is just memorize that. Oh, here's a great one. Could have. Well, I'm going to put all three. Could have, C-O-U-L-D, apostrophe V-E. Could have, C-O-U-L-D-O-F. Could have, C-O-U-L-D-H-A-V-E. Could have is, when we say that, I could have gone to the store, I could have had breakfast. We are saying the first one, C-O-U-L-D apostrophe V-E. It's a contraction of could have. I have seen people, and I've seen more of this lately, so I'm not sure what that means, but I've seen people write that out as could have. Why? Because that's what it sounds like. It's just that simple. And of course there's would have, should have, but the apostrophe VE is a contraction for have. It just sounds like of, OF. So again, once you know the backstory, it makes it easy to avoid the mistake. All right, here's another set of three, and people confuse these all the time. Assure, insure, ensure. So, assure. I assure you. I'm guaranteeing you. I'm stating this with conviction. I assure you I will be there. It's like a promise. I promise I will be there. Insure is when you go to a company, you give them some money, and they insure your car or your house or your boat. They're offering you protection in terms of financial compensation. That's what to insure means. Ensure means to verify or guarantee. I will stay with the workmen while they do the job to ensure that they do it correctly. Now, I'm not insuring because no money's changing hands. I'm not assuring, although I might assure you that I will ensure the job gets done. But ensure is to verify, to guarantee. So, again, we just have to remember the definitions of those three words, and it'll be fairly easy not to confuse them. Okay, here's the biggie. I know some of you have been waiting for this. Less and fewer. You go to the grocery store, you've got some items in your cart, and the checkout aisle says 10 items or less. Wrong. All right, it should be 10 items or fewer. It's the difference between mass nouns and quantity nouns. A mass noun is a noun that refers to a volume as an entire entity. Water. You can't count water. Quantity nouns you can count. So, sand, water, air. Sheep, items in your grocery cart. So how do we remember this? Because less and fewer correspond to much and many, and we don't make the mistake with much and many. We don't do it. No one would say, I have much items in my cart. Well, Yeah, somebody says that, and you're going to say, "Ooh, there's a cute-ass Uzbekistan woman over there saying I have much groceries in my cart. Let's go see if we can make her say it again." No. But we do it with less and fewer all the time. So what you need to do is just link up less with much, fewer with many, and flip it. So 10 items or much. No, items are not much. Many. You would never say much items. You would say many. We just, like I said, we don't make that mistake. That for some reason, that's just not a mistake we make. And the mnemonic for this one is less is one syllable, much is one syllable, fewer is 2 syllables, many is 2 syllables. Link them up in your head and you'll never make that mistake again, because, as I say, we don't make that mistake. Nobody ever says, "I have many water." They don't do it. No one says, "I have much groceries." Well, actually, you might say groceries. No one says, "I have much pennies." I have many pennies. It's a mistake that can be circumvented just by linking the words. That was the same with I and me, linking them with he and she and him and her. If you make the link, you won't be confused, because in some cases we have it down pat and we just don't make the mistakes. And then with other isolated examples, we do. So it's always good to sort of make those connections in your head, and they'll carry through for you. This one. One another and each other. This always goes on my list of grammatical errors. And the reason why is it's on every SAT exam like known to man. It's even on GED testing, which is remarkable, because all they are attempting to test is, if you have the literacy of your average 18-year-old. So, whoa, that's tricky, because your average 18-year-old probably doesn't know the answer to this. Nevertheless, we have a set of words here for which there is a difference. Now, it's a very picayune difference. Wait. Picayune. That's our word of the day. Pickayune. We get that from Creole French from Louisiana. And it was used to describe a coin, like a copper coin. So picayune means small, worthless. It used to mean money, but now it means small, worthless, inconsequential. That's the problem with this. These words have a difference that is inconsequential, and everybody makes this mistake. It's to the point where I don't even hear it as a mistake anymore. Each other means two and implies reciprocity. We love each other. I love him. He loves me. 2. Whole group, we love one another. Apparently, somebody decided that it wasn't possible to be fully reciprocal in those situations. So, with a group, 3 or more, it's one another. I'm telling you, the difference is minuscule. It is the most nitpicky difference you could ever come across. Memorize it, because it will be on SATs and it will be on GED exams. And if you are ever taking any kind of test of English literacy, and I know you're probably sitting back saying, I'm 64 years old, why would I be taking a test in literacy? You never know. Could one day decide you want to go back to college? Get this one down, because it'll be on the test. So that's your heads up. It will be on the test. But as I say, the difference is insignificant. All right, 2 and 2 and 2. The first one is easy. TWO is the number, and we rarely screw that up. Very rarely. TOO means also, and to is a preposition. I'm going to the store. I'm giving it to you. You just have to remember, this is the only thing you have to remember, because like I say, no one screws up the number 2. Well, maybe some people do, but we don't. Thank you very much. Remember, 2 with 2 O's. When you write it down, TO, also add another O. And the also should be telling you to add that second O. There is also a second O. So just remember that one. All right. Allot, allot, allot. Now, let's start with the first one, ALOT. That is not a word. We need to throw that right off. Goodbye. There is no word allot. The word that is generally confused with ALOT is 2 words actually. A lot, which is a lot of stuff. And a lot is just a large unit of stuff. And frankly, it doesn't have to be a large unit. A lot can be small. You can have a small lot, but it is a unit of stuff. So a lot, that's where it comes from. Now, we shorthand a lot, meaning a large amount. But remember, a lot is 2 words. And the final allot, ALLOT, is something that is given or apportioned to you. This is your allotment. Unfortunately, in the UK, they use the word allotment regularly, and it has a meaning for them in their daily lives that we don't share. So they have an advantage over us in this regard. But an allotment is something that is portioned out to you. So I'm going to allot a certain amount of time for the meeting. I was allotted $50 by the store for the damage when I brought back the broken piece. All right, that was our 15 grammatical errors, common grammatical errors, and we got through it in less than half an hour. Hey! So we got a few minutes. Let me just tell you this, because this is actually very cute. Monday was our littlest subscriber's birthday, and I asked her mother to say happy birthday to her for me, and she did. She said, "Sue says happy birthday, Evelyn," and Evelyn's response was, "Happy birthday, Sue." So, which is so cute, because she's just 2. Here's the thing. Either this is like the most polite little kid on the planet. You say happy birthday, she's going to wish you right back, or she's a witch. And I'm trying to decide which. Now, the reason I would say she is a witch is how else does a 2-year-old know that my birthday is coming up in a few days? We got to keep an eye on this kid. Seriously. All right. Well, now that Evelyn is safely 2, I will see you all on Friday, and have a great couple of days.